Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of the truth, lovers of existence, how does becoming happen? Becoming happen only when there is a friction. When we tap, tabla produces music only when we tap on it. Beautiful life emerges from the egg when we break it open, when it breaks open. The caterpillar becomes the beautiful butterfly when it goes through that friction, the conflict. That leads to progress in human life. That leads to becoming. That leads to growth. That leads to elevation to the next stage of evolution. But today's youth has everything. Today's youth has all the information that is required in this world. In the age of Google and internet, in the age of the fourth industrial revolution, information is available at fingertips. But what is lacking is wisdom. What is lacking is the ability to deal with friction, is the ability to deal with conflict, ladies and gentlemen. This is where, let's see how the youth of today is dealing with this friction. I'm just trying to move the slides. I think something. Okay. No, it's still not moving. Yes. So now, in a few seconds, let's see how today's youth is dealing with friction and conflict. And I'm going to share with you a few live examples. I'm going to share with you a few clippings that I have collected from newspapers recently. This is how today's youth is dealing with friction. This is what we are, this is how we are managing our relationships. Man kills his wife after a fight. Son leaves his 80-year-old widow mother at old age home. Young boys of 15 commit suicide after scoring 93% in the examination. His parents expected him to get 98%. Father hospitalized after a stabbing by the son. Man commits suicide after killing his wife and 2 children. Employee quits the organization after continuous humiliation by his supervisor. My dear brothers and mothers, my dear friends, what's going on? What's going on? If we move the slide, the youth of today somehow seems to become directionless. Can we move the slides, please? Or if I can get the slide, change it back. The youth seems to be directionless. The youth seems to have lost the direction of life. Let's move on. As we move on, why are the relationships falling apart? We are talking about relationship, expectation, and failure management. And we seem to have failed in all aspects. We seem to have failed in managing our relationships. And the relationships are breaking away. They're falling apart. They're getting disintegrated. And as we move on, as we can see here, human life is all about managing, is all about balancing these 5 aspects of our life. The individual life, the conjugal life, the familial life, the social life, and the national life. Sri Thakur Nakul Chandra calls it the Pancha Mahajivan, the 5 aspects of our life. And human life is all about, let's move on, it's all about managing the circle of relationships. The relations of the individual with his or her spouse. The relationship of the individual with the family. The relationship of the individual in the family with the society, with the neighborhood. The relationship of societies with a country, with a nation. And as we move on, I'm going to share with you this picture of a wall. And my dear friends, can you tell me what is holding these bricks in this wall together? What is holding it together? There is something which is holding these bricks together. If we pile bricks on bricks, they're going to get disintegrated. They're going to fall apart in no time. But when we bring these bricks together, bind them together with a factor, with a cementing factor, that can hold the bricks together. As we move on, I would like to ask you, as we move on, I'm going to ask you, so when I say as I move on, please change the slide. So, my dear mothers and brothers, my dear friends, who is holding, what is the cementing factor in our relationships? What is that cementing factor which is binding me with my wife, binding me with my family, with my parents, with my children, with my grandparents? What is that cementing factor which is binding me with my society? What is that cementing factor which is binding me with my nation, with my country, with this world at large? My dear friends, don't we need that cementing factor in our life which can unite me with the rest of my universe? Where is that cementing factor in my life? As we move on, there can be no misery, no sorrow, no pain in this world if in this world all are for everyone and everyone is for all. Sister Thakur Anukul Chandra, the prophet of this age, our supreme beloved, the Purushottam of the age, he gives this clarion call. He dreams of an age, he dreams of a world that all are for everyone, and everyone is for all. As we move on, Sister Thakur Anukul Chandra calls it interinterestedness. He calls it, as we move on, he calls it interinterestedness. Please change the slide. Sister Thakur Anukul Chandra calls it interinterestedness. He says if every individual becomes interested in the other individual in the family, if every family is interested in the interest of the other family in the society, if every society is interested in the interest of every other society, if every state is interested, is always thinking about the welfare of every other state in this country, if every nation thinks about the interest of every other nation in this universe, Sister Thakur says, the integration, the national integration will not be a faraway dream. National integration is not going to be an utopian dream. If every state thinks about the welfare of every other state, national integration will be a reality which will be in our grip. What a beautiful, amazing formula of bringing people together, keeping them together, binding them together. And what's a dream about a nation? What a dream about a universe? What's a dream about this world where nobody will be deprived, nobody will remain hungry, nobody will remain sick, nobody will remain in sorrow and pain, Because every other human being in this world is going to think about how to remove the pain of every other individual. This is the philosophy of being interested in the welfare of others. Today, we're demanding our rights. Every community, every faith, every state. I come from Bangalore. There is a fight that goes on every day between two states over water. Every state says, I need more water. But can there be a situation when every state thinks, how can the other state, how can my neighboring state get water? And the other state also thinks, how can this state get more water? The moment, the day that notion comes into reality, the day every individual, every family, every society, every state, every country thinks like that, the heaven will be on this earth. So as we move on, Sister Thakur Anukul Chandra says, love is not a mutual affair. Sister Thakur says, love is not give and take. That's what we understood all the time. Since our childhood, everybody tells, love is about giving and taking. Love is mutual. Sister Thakur says, for me, love is one-sided. Love is loving my supreme beloved, loving my object of love without expectations, without any desires, without any hope of getting anything in return. That's what true love is all about. That's what true love is all about. An American devotee came to Sister Thakur, and in the course of the conversation, the American told Sister Thakur, Thakur, I hate my mother like anything. Thakur became pale, his face turned pale. Sister Thakur with a green voice replied, son, I love my mother like anything. The young man said, Thakur, that's okay, but I hate my mother. I hate my mother like anything. Sister Thakur at the top of his voice said, young man, I love my mother like anything. The young man cried. Tears trickled down on his cheeks. And the young man said, Thakur, I also want to love my mother. I want to love my mother. Because of some reasons, some incidents, some whatever it is, there has been some misunderstanding. We do not enjoy a good relationship. But Thakur, at the core of my heart, in the bottom of my heart, I want to love my mother the way you love your mother. Sister Thakur smiled and replied. He said, son, your love will teach you how to love your mother. Your love will teach you how to love your mother. Ignite that love in you. Kindle the flames of love in you. And your love will teach you how to love your mother. This is Sister Thakur. What a beautiful formula for relations. The finance minister, the then finance minister of Bihar, came to Satsang Ashram. He went round the ashram, looked at all the beautiful work that's happening in the ashram. He went to the hospital, he came to the research laboratory, he went to the publishing house, he went to the school. He came back to Sister Thakur and said, Thakur, there's so much beautiful work that's going on, philanthropic work that's going on in this Satsang Ashram. Thakur, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you publicize this? Why don't you propagate this through mass media? Sister Thakur smiled, looked at him and said, Dada, when you buy a sari for your wife, when you buy books for your children for the school, do you talk about it in the newspaper? Do you publicize that in the media? Do you talk about it on the television, radio? The minister said, Thakur, what are you saying? So does anyone talk about what happens in the family? When I do something for my own people, should I talk about it in the newspaper? Thakur said, that's exactly what I want to tell you. Everything that I'm doing, every mission that I'm carrying out, every activities that I'm organizing here in this Satsang Ashram is for my own people. Everybody belongs to me. Everybody is my own. There is nobody who is away from me. There is no one who is not mine. Should I talk about in newspapers? Should I talk about in mass media? Should I talk about in television? The minister was mesmerized. Then he asked Thakur, tell me, what is your income? What is your expenditure? How do you run such a huge, massive satsang ashram here? How do you make it happen? What are your earnings? Where do you get money from? What expenses that you make? So Thakur looked at him and he said, man is my income and love is my expenditure. A finance minister who only believes in numbers, dollars or rupee, who only believes in maintaining balances, the budgets of the state or the province, had never heard about a formula like this. He had never heard about a formula. Love is my expenditure, man is my income. This is the philosophy of Sister Thakur Anupam Chandra. Love is my expenditure, man is my income. As we move on, and according to Sister Thakur, love is the primary driver of action. If I truly love somebody, I'm going to do something. I'm going to engage in an activity to fulfill the desires of that person. I will engage in an activity to make that person happy, to make that person elated, to make that person delighted. That's the nature of true love. If I don't have true love, if I do not engage in an activity to fulfill the desires of my beloved, as our respected Shivananda was saying, love without loving activity for the beloved sham. That's what love is reduced to if you do not engage in activity. But true love is the primary driver of action. You love your children, you can do anything for your children. You will love your mother, you can do anything for your mother. You love your wife, you can do anything for her. You love your husband, you can do anything for him. If you have true love, if you love the love center in your life, the living ideal, the Supreme Father, if you love Him, you should be prepared to do anything for Him. As we move on, let's move on. But unfortunately, the dark clouds are hovering over. The dark clouds of hopelessness, discomfort, unhappiness, sorrow, frustration, anxiety, stress. Those clouds are hovering over the youth today. As we move on, all these dark clouds, like dark clouds during rains, similarly, the dark clouds here, please move on. As we move on, these dark clouds today is leading to loneliness. It is leading to divorce, adultery, alcoholism, drug addiction, suicide, crime, disease, death. And as we move on, let's look at why this happens. What's the cause of this degradation? The cause of this degradation, let's move on, is the absence of a regulated life. We have everything. We have got a beautiful life. We have come to this world with unlimited potential. Acharya Dev Siddhada keeps saying, "Asambhav sambhavana niye aise tui kor likhi." All of us have come here with unlimited potential. But what has happened to our potential? What have we done? What have we reduced our lives to? And this absence of regulated life, as we move on, is nothing but the control of complexes and passions over us. We have become slaves to passions and complexes like jealousy, infatuation, lust, anger, ego, etc. This frustration, these passions and complexes, Kam, Krodh, Krodh, Mad, Love, Moh, Mascharya, they have taken control over our lives. They have taken a grip on our life. And our life has become undisciplined and our life has become deregulated. As we move on, what's the solution? What's the solution, my dear mothers and brothers, my dear friends? The solution, as we move on, I remember when I was a small child and I was going to satsang. On one satsang, I listened to one Ritvik Das who was talking about something very simple yet very profound. Very simple yet very profound. He said something in very simple words. He said, you can never draw a circle without a center. If you want to draw a circle, you need to have a center. Let's move on. He said, if you do not have the center in your life and want to draw a circle, you will end up creating a zigzag line. So if you want to have beauty, harmony, balance, symmetricness in your life, have a center. But if you want your life to become zigzag, imbalanced, lost, directionless, then don't have a center. Choice is yours. If you have a center, your life can become as beautiful as a circle. But if you do not have that center, the love center in your life, then your life will become directionless. As we move on, that's why Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra says, you are for the Lord, not for others. You are for the Lord, and so for others. So you are for the center. But if you have the center, the whole universe will become with you. But if you don't have the center, nobody will be with you. So if you love the center, if you are for Him, and you're only for Him, but if you're only for Him, being for others will become spontaneous and natural living. That will become a thing of spontaneity, and that will become a natural, normal behavior in you to help others, to do something for others, to take care of others. You don't have to think about it. So as we move on, so when we have that love center in our life, lust becomes love. Anger becomes strength and courage. Greed becomes desire to acquire more knowledge. Passion becomes pride on my ideal. And attachment towards material things becomes universal love. And extravaganza becomes constructive criticism. So when that transformation happens, when we have the love center, the irregulated, the indisciplined life will become disciplined. The indisciplined life which had lost direction, lost balance, lost hope, will find hope, will find balance, will find a purpose, will find meaning. That's how millions and millions and millions of people have transformed their life by accepting Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra as their love center, the living ideal. They have seen the transformation. They're seeing it every day. And not only they have transformed their own lives, I can say with concrete authority and assurance, they have transformed the lives of the future generations to come. Their future generations, which they haven't seen yet. So that's the purpose of having this living ideal at the center of your life. Ideal is not an idea, it's a person, a human being that you can touch, speak to. You can engage in a dialogue. You can serve him, question him. Alexis Carrel, the most eminent Nobel laureate, once said that man cannot accept the conduct of the universal conduct of rationality unless he considers this law to be the commands of a personal God. We need a God that we can see, talk to, speak to, touch. That God is the living ideal. Purushottam, the omniscient, the omnipresent God comes in human form in every age. And as we move on, I know I just have a couple of minutes to complete. So when we have such a living ideal at the center of our life, when we take this initiation, in the process of initiation we get something called mantra, the holy name. The mantra takes our mind to an elevated state. And when you are flying in an aeroplane and look down, as you can see in this picture, everything is looking the same. it's very difficult to distinguish where is a mountain and where is a tall building and where is a small building. It's very difficult to distinguish that because the mind is at an elevated state. Similarly, when we have a living ideal, take the holy name through the process of Diksha or initiation, our mind goes to an elevated state. We ignore the small material things. We ignore somebody's rebuke or somebody's appreciation. We become normal in every state. And that begins the journey towards progress, balance, happiness in life. With this, I would like to wish all of you, those who have accepted a living ideal at the center of your life, march on in that path with courage and vigor and bless yourself, get yourself blessed, and also ensure that everybody in your environment is blessed as well. But if you don't have a living ideal at the center of your life, don't lose any more time. Come, accept the living ideal at the center of your life. See the transformation that comes about in your life. Vande Purushottamam.
अपने एक्सटेंसिव लर्निंग और एक्सपीरियंसेस को हमारे साथ शेयर करने के लिए सर बिग थैंक यू, अ ह्यूज राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन. टाइम नाउ फॉर अ क्विक Q&A सेशन. सो अगर आपको सर से कोई भी सवाल करना हो आप पूछ सकते हैं. एनीबडी इन द ऑडियंस?
Yes, I want to ask one question. Sir,
नहीं.
thank you for your kind information.
Thank you.
I am Santosh from IIIT Naya Raipur. I have actually come here for participation of this conference. I have actually a couple of questions. Based on your actually given presentation, right? Love is one point that any person can actually gain anything through whole life, right? And that can be actually achieved through the one kind of prophet, that God who came in form of the human body, right? So how we can actually put that actually strength and particularly good way to achieve this love, so that each and every in our actually Indian culture can get all kind of success and all kind of actually the particular opportunity in its social life. This is my question.
Okay, so I think that's a very good question. So if we believe that we are the son or the daughter of the Supreme Father, who himself is epitome of love, love is spontaneous in all of us. Love is there in all of us. All that we need to do is invoke that love in us. We need to ignite that love that is there, that is dormant, that is lying potent within ourselves. All we need to do is ignite that. And that is possible only we engage in a loving activity towards our beloved. Then we can experience the power of love. That's why it becomes important to have that love center in your life. When the epitome of love himself becomes the center of your life, you don't have to worry about how to love. I was sharing that story where Sasi Thakur told that American young man, your love will teach you how to love your mother. That means love is inherent in you. All we need to do is ignite it. And the way we can ignite that is by aligning ourselves to the living ideal who can bring it out. Did I answer your question? Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for a beautiful answer. Sir, का अभिनंदन करने